Okay, so now moving on to the spin tool. This is probably the more preferred method of modeling objects like this, just because you can get a lot of detail out of it. So I'm going to start by going into edit mode on the default cube here. So I'm just going to hit tab to go into edit mode, and I'm actually going to delete everything, which seems kind of counterproductive at the time, but it'll make sense a little bit later. So we just want to hit delete and then delete the vertices, and we don't have any vertices right now. Now keep in mind this center point right here, this origin point. When it comes to spinning this, the actual spin tool, this point actually matters quite a bit. Well, it matters for a lot of things, but this is actually going to be the center of your object, so we need to keep that in mind. So what we want to do now is actually add a vertex somewhere over here. So this will be the base of the object. So we want to hold down Control to add a vertex and just left click, and it will place the vertex exactly where you've clicked. So now we're going to extrude the base inward to this center point. So we just want to extrude with E and then just drag this vertex over to the middle here. You can also hold down Control to get a precise movement, and once it's right in the center there, or pretty close to the center, we can start on the profile of the goblet. So with this vertex selected, we can then extrude up for the ridge of the base, and really just be creative with this, I guess. Just keep placing vertices and kind of form the profile of the goblet. So what I'm doing now is just extruding the actual centerpiece, I guess the handle of the goblet, and adding little nuances and detail to it as I go along here. Now keep in mind you don't want to cross the center line right here, just because this is actually going to be where your glass spins around, or goblet spins around, so you don't want to pass this line. So I'm just going to continue here and form the top of the glass. Not being very precise at all. And what we're going to do here is just create this like little lip at the top. Okay, so we don't actually have to extrude the bowl of the cup out because we're going to be using a solidify modifier later. But you can do that if you really want to and not use a solidify modifier, if you're against using the solidify modifier. But that should be good for now for a decent goblet shape. It's not too detailed. You might want to go a little bit more on the actual profile. So now when it comes to actually spinning, we're going to actually want to select all of our mesh right here. So we want to press A to select everything. And our origin point is in the correct place, so all we have to do now is go to the top view, because the view orientation actually really matters when it comes to spinning. It will actually spin around what view you're currently looking into. So we need to be in the top view, which is 7 on the number pad. Okay, so once we have everything selected and we're in the top view, we need to bring up the tool shelf, or you might already have it up by default. So it's the panel on this left side over here. Okay, so now for spinning, you'll find it in the Add menu. It's the second to last option down here. And yeah, that's what you want to click. So you just want to click Spin. And we'll start off by spinning at 90 degrees and the steps at 9. So we want to probably put the steps down to about 6. Now what the steps really represent are just how much geometry it's using to actually spin around this designated degrees. So by lowering the steps, we're lowering the amount of geometry it'll use to spin this. So 6 is perfect for what we're doing. And the degrees, we actually want to spin it a full 360 instead of 90 degrees. So you just want to type in 360 in the degrees field, and that'll spin it directly around. And this is okay because we're going to probably use a subsurf modifier to smooth things out, but if you want to put the steps up to 8, it usually gets a better result. So there we go. Just by hitting a few options, we've spun this around, and it's turned out to be an alright goblet.